So I want to talk about probably the most important thing that sellers want to know about, and that's pricing of properties. Very rarely do we ever sit down with the seller with the comparative market analysis and they go, oh, no, my home is worth less, right? They always think that the home is worth more. Well, we do have that one instance that we ended up selling it for $400,000 more. But let's talk about the three different ways to price a home. So the oldest way to price a home is kind of what probably our parents did, is they overpriced the home. So they went on and said, I want X for the home, so I'm gonna leave a little bit more in there so that I can negotiate and meet in between. The second way is gonna be fair market value, where you get one buyer, one offer, you sell it for exactly this price. And then the third way, and probably the most strategic way, is going to be when you maybe underprice a little bit under fair market value. So let's walk through the first way. So overpricing a home, what does that do to a home?
That allows a home to sit on the market for a while and brings less showings, less buyer opportunities. I don't think it benefits the seller as much.
And I think that when that strategy worked 20 years ago, the internet wasn't as influential with buyers and sellers. And so now when we see homes that are on the market for weeks or possibly, depending on the price point, even months, buyers tend to go, hey, what's wrong with the property? And so really the other challenge with that is that Zestimates and Redfin estimates. So if there's a big discrepancy between those two, buyers will lean towards what favors them. So overpricing a home is exactly what it sounds like. It's overpriced, it sits, it ends up receiving less offers, worse terms, and possibly even less than what the home could be valued at.
Definitely.
Fair market value, I'll give you my definition of fair market value, is where a buyer and a seller both find value and they come together to create fair market value.
Yeah, I think it brings you an average amount of attention to the home, maybe a few showings and then maybe 1 to 2 offers after a time of, being on the market.
Yeah, so I think there's nothing wrong with fair market value. Some of the things that we left out are terms. So what we see is a lot of sellers want to make one move. Maybe they're upsizing, downsizing, and so they want things like possession after the closing. There's certain timeframes that they want to work within, or they don't really have any leverage if the home is maybe a little bit older and has some repairs that need to be done. If there's just one buyer,
or if something happens during escrow and they fall out of escrow, that was their only option.
Yeah, and going back on the market sometimes has a negative effect on properties because buyers then say, hey, what's going on with the home? Let's talk about under fair market value. This is probably the scariest for sellers because they don't understand is, why would I undersell my home? But there's a study done by NAR, and basically is that if a home is accurately priced or even a little bit undervalued, almost 90% of buyers will come and view the property. The flip side to that is that the home is overpriced by 10%, only 10% of buyers will come and see the property. So walk me through strategically pricing a home to get multiple offers.
So the reason you want to underprice a home slightly less than the fair market value is because A, you're going to get more showings, you're going to have more buyers walking through your property and taking value and seeing the potential in owning that home. You're going to then have more offers that are going to be written for your home, and you're going to have what we call buyer selection. So most sellers want the strongest, the best offer out there, and if you have 1 to 2 to choose from, most likely you're not going to get the strongest buyer. But if you have 5 to 6 or more to choose from, then you're really finding the terms that are best for you.
And some of those terms, like you're saying, is not only just terms that we're asking for, like inspection, appraisal, loan contingencies to be maybe shorter, but the other ones are going to be, you can choose from somebody that has maybe a larger down payment, maybe an all cash offer, somebody that is asking for no closing cost credit or is really siding with the seller to make it more profitable. So
they're doing financing with a stronger lender. Sometimes we get pre-approvals from a lender we've never heard of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So one thing about pricing a home aggressively under market value is that it's not the sale price. It's what we call a marketing piece.
Right.
So you're advertising the home for a lesser value, but buyers already know, especially through the algorithms of Zillow and Redfin, that the home is worth more. So again, they find value for them. So like you spoke to earlier, when we see a seller overprice a home and it sits on the market longer, they typically net less than they would have if they had priced it at fair market value or below. So our sellers that are savvy enough to price their home under market value end up driving the most offers to get the best price for their home at the end of the day.
And we have tons of experience and examples of where sellers have put the pricing structure in our hands, because really that's just a marketing number. Just like all the professional photography and all of the outbound calling that we do, we really put together a strategic price in order to drive traffic in through multiple offer situation where we find a new fair market value. And sometimes it's not so fair, but more for the sellers, because buyers compete and they look at that as, hey, I'm emotionally connected to the property, I have to have it, and they
are willing to go above and beyond.
Absolutely. So in closing, overpricing a property is always going to net a seller less, whereas when you underprice a property, you're going to receive multiple offers, push that price up through negotiations, receive better terms and better pricing, netting you more money.
If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and follow us for
more videos just like this.